Hey guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us. Last week we talked about insulating and flashing and sealing off the free space area in your log home. This week, as we start to get prepared for really cold temperatures that are coming up next week, I can't help but go over some of the things that you need to do with winterization and just sealing your home. This is during the construction process, but if you're in construction or even if you are finished with your home, just making sure to have a checks and balance and go back and kind of review these things to make sure these are done so that when we get into these really cold temperatures and we get into these really cold periods of time, that your house is properly sealed and insulated and ready for those temperatures. If you have questions about winterization, I've got tips that I've done within the last 12 months, 2 years. If you go to our YouTube channel and you hit the search function and just type in winterization, you can see all the tips and you can see all the lunch and learns that we've done on that. But what I wanted to talk about today is really more the envelope of the home, especially when you're doing a log home where the log walls not only serve as the perimeter exterior walls, but they serve as the insulation, and there's nothing that is installed to the exterior or to the interior of them. And so it's really important that your envelope of your home be sealed all the way around the perimeter. And we're going to kind of touch on a couple of areas, starting at the base, like you see here in this image, where you've got this transition from the log wall down to the subfloor, and you've got this transition from the log to the stone. It's hard to kind of tell or see here, but they've done a small base trim right here on the porch. Behind that, it is insulated and sealed and then flashed, and then that is trimmed out over the top of it. And then on this side wall, where this chink joint comes down to this flashing is sitting on top of this little water table, the stone, so that when water comes down the wall, it breaks over the flashing and comes down to the outside face of the log. So this is exactly how these areas are supposed to be done. As we move on to some closer images, you can see where the caulking material is done between the trim and the log, and then your chinking material is rolled all the way to the back side of the window and door trim. On the next image, we kind of focus in on a particular window. As you can see again, you've got chinking all the way to the back of the trim. You've got caulking right here between the log and the trim that seals that off. And then what I love about this image is the flashing that's curved in and sealed into the log above the head trim of the window. If water comes down, it rolls off of this flashing to the outside of the window. This also really seals up around the perimeter of the window and creates a really nice tight envelope around the windows and doors so that it's well insulated and well sealed, and it is very efficient. You can also see in this image where it's been caulked around the dovetail corners. You can see around the leading edge of the dovetails, all of this is caulked and sealed, just like down at the base, just like down in the chink joints that seal up behind the window and door trim. So really important area to seal off and make sure that you've got the envelope of the house maintained and sealed up correctly. This image, again, is a little bit of another close-up. You can see the windows on the exposed walls have the flashing above the head trim that's curved in and sealed so that water rolls off to the exterior face of the window. Everything's chinked and caulked around the perimeter of the windows. And then I love this image because you've got a flashing detail between the log and the fireplace. So your chinking rolls to the outside edge of the flashing, and then the stone comes to the flashing so that there's nothing that can penetrate, no air, no water infiltration can penetrate that connection between the fireplace and the chimney and the stone and the log. And it also allows for that settlement to occur. This image too, again, shows that chink joint at the base. You've got a backer foam or a tape behind that, and then the chinking comes down to the flashing so that water comes down and rolls off of that water table and away from the house into the exterior face. So these are just some of the areas where it's really important to seal, to caulk, to chink, to flash some of these areas. If you think about the envelope, think about any wood to wood connection. The envelope is basically around the perimeter of your log wall to your subfloor connection, around the envelope where your porches come into your log walls or to the ledger. Any area that's wood to wood that is on the outer perimeter of the home, these dovetail corners all needs to be sealed, and finished off correctly. And we've got tips about how to do that properly, and we've got all kinds of videos about how to do that as well. But these are the things that make the difference in how it's finished, how it's flashed, and how it's trimmed, and how it's chinked, and how it's caulked, and how it's sealed off. Makes all the difference in the world to how weather tight, airtight, how energy efficient the home will be. And the home, when you get into these temperatures, like next week, we're going to get down, into 7 degrees on Tuesday and 2 degrees on Wednesday. This is where the home will perform like it should be when it's finished off correctly, and everything sealed up like it's supposed to be. So should you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I want to make sure that everybody that owns one of our homes does all these things correctly. Again, if you want to read some tips or watch some tips and watch some videos about winterization and trying to get ready for next week, about windows and doors and things that need to be done, protecting and insulating hose bibs, etc. Go to our YouTube channel again, type in winterization, and it'll pull up all the videos and all the lunch and learns that we've done over the last 3 years or so. So hopefully this has been helpful. I know it's long, but hopefully it's beneficial. Stay warm out there as we approach some really cold temperatures next week. Make sure you winterize your home to get ready for next week. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. And we look forward to you back here next week for more Tip Tuesday. Until then, stay safe and healthy and take care.